Oh, well, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Give it a few minutes and let some notifications click in. Hope everybody's having a good morning. What's today? Tuesday, right? Yeah, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I'm going to try and keep an eye on my chat from my phone out of the corner of my eye here. Um, because once I get into reading docs, I'm going to be in another window and I won't be able to see my chat. Good morning, Meg. Beautiful Meg P. Good to see you. P. Fox, good morning. How are you, darling? Teresa, hello. Pagan Ways, hello. Hope everybody's having a good morning. I got my coffee. I'm ready to go. I was going to go live either Saturday or Sunday or Monday, and I couldn't do it, guys. Between reading all these documents on my own, I already got through all of them. I've already gotten through all of the supplemental reports on my own. Beckles, hello, good morning. Um, and then now we're just playing catch up, right? So I know that we've all already heard these documents. We've heard probably 1,000 other creators read through all of them. It's fine. This is just for me. You know what I mean? So I get it. I know you guys have already heard all of the documents. I have read through all of them on my own. We're just going to play catch up on the channel because your girl put in a bunch of FOIAs yesterday. Um, like lots. FBI, Latah County Sheriff, Latah County Prosecutor's Office, Idaho State Police. I did get an email back from Matthew Gamet, and Mr. Gamet let me know that he needs more time to gather together the documents that I have submitted in my FOIA. So hopefully that's a good thing. Fingers crossed. Mr. Gamet did get back to me right away and let me know he received my request and he's working on it. So he said if for any reason it couldn't be ready in 10 days, I would get a phone call. Someone would let me know. If things need to be redacted, it could take longer, etc. So we'll see. Hopefully, my FOIAs do produce something. I expect nothing from the feds. I really don't. But hey, you never know, right? The way I look at it is everybody better start FOIAing everything. Okay? It's not that hard to do. Be specific in what you're asking for. You want all of their supplemental reports, their narratives, notes, iMessage communications, instant messages, things like that. All of that is, you know, whether people like it or not, we're entitled to it. The feds used our tax dollars, probably millions of them, to investigate this case, and they want to hide their work. So, shouldn't be allowed as far as I'm concerned. And the way I look at it is if they get, say, between the Idaho State Police, the FBI, all of these other agencies, if everybody just starts putting in their FOIAs, okay, between mainstream media, true crime people, nosy motherfuckers, you know what I mean? I'm sure they're going to get sick of having 10,000 goddamn FOIAs to go through every day, right? Maybe they're going to just follow suit with what Moscow did here. Create some links, have a public resource with all of your shit available right there for us to go click on. Idaho State Police could post it all to their website. The DOJ could post it all to their website on behalf of the FBI. You know what I'm saying? All they need to do is the same thing Moscow police did. Provide the links to all of the docs. That's it. That's all you have to do and make it a free resource that everybody can click on. That's how easy it is. And go figure, out of everybody, out of all the agencies that were involved in this case, well, wouldn't you look at that? It's Moscow police. They come out the gate saying, hey, we want full transparency. Here's all our shit. Go figure. Out of everybody who worked on this, huh? Moscow police all of a sudden is like, here you go. You can have all of our stuff. We don't want your shit because we know you motherfuckers aren't the ones who did the real investigation here. We want the shit from the people who did the real investigation. That would be FBI, ISP, right? Latah County Sheriff. What was the Secret Service doing? What was the BAU doing? Right? I want their shit. That's whose shit I want. Moscow Police Department's supplemental reports are nothing. It's nothing. It's, take it all with a grain of salt. These are hearsay reports from officers that wrote up these reports months later. And most of the time they're writing up these reports on something that they didn't record. Interviews and things like that they didn't even bother to record. So they're writing up reports on what? Memory? This is why supplemental reports are fucking hearsay, and they're not admissible unless you're going to bring them in to impeach the officer on the stand. It's absolutely wild. It's just absolutely wild. Either way, let me come over to chat. Let me, I can't look at chat when I'm talking because I'll lose my train of thought. So now I'm going to come and say hello to everybody. Let me check my chat, see who's here. Good morning, everybody. Meg P, did I get you? I'm sure I did. Beautiful Meg P. P Fox, hello. Always good to see you. Teresa, Beckles, Gina P. Hello, darling. Good to see you. Bree Sully, always good to see you. Ro, hello. Who else am I missing? KB. What up, KB? Good morning, sir. Good to see you. Welcome on in. Who else am I missing? Meg P says, see my above comment. Oh, you haven't read all of them yet either. Oh, okay. So there's a few of you that haven't read. Okay. Well, that's fine. Jazz King. Look at you. Good morning, King. Always good to see you. Welcome on in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I just, I figure if we all start putting in these supplementals, Yvonne, hello. Start putting in these FOIAs. Miss Q, hello. Sherlock, hello. Angel Tiger X, hello. Hope everybody's having a great day. Swamp Rose. Kiki, yay. Look at you, beautiful Kiki. I hope you're enjoying your summer on the boat with the puppers. Yeah, I hope you are. I heard you're just thoroughly enjoying your life and living your best life, and I'm so happy to hear it. That video of your dog dive bombing into the pool, that short, is probably one of my favorite videos ever, Swamp. Just so you know, Kiki. I absolutely love that video. Kind of dog is that, by the way? Is that like a white lab or something? I forget. He's beautiful. He, she, they. Just so you know, Kiki. Love your doggies. Meanie, good morning. Hello. Not that one, Meg P says. Okay, let me go see, darling. Sherlock, see my above comment. Miss Potts, see my above comment. Okay, hang on, honey. Let me go find it. I tried to get documents from the U.S. Marshal's office, but I need Brian's signature. Do you think he will give it to me? You need Brian's signature to get those, eh? Interesting. I don't know. Use that Getting Out app. Go ahead and see if you can get added on his Getting Out app and tell him, I want to get all your shit from the Marshals, bro. Give me your signature. Sign off on this, homie. I don't know. I watched a video the other day too. Now, I had no idea this was even happening until the video came up in my recommended feed, right? And it was that what's that guy's name? Shit. He's got a weird name, Pablo something. Jumpsuit Pablo. So I see this video by this Jumpsuit Pablo guy, right? Talking about the L's on Brian's clothing. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I had no idea this was happening, okay? I had no idea this was a thing on the internet. And he's talking about how the L's on the shirt are for large. It means large. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, so just for shits and giggles, I went back and I watched other people's sentencings, right? Like in Idaho. And I'm not seeing anybody else in that orange jumpsuit with those L's on their collar. So that's number one. Listen, I don't like to go down the conspiracy angle, but the fact that he wrote himself 2 L's on there, I'm not gonna lie to you, my first thought was like, oh, Linda Lane, the missing 30 minutes. And that's before I even knew about a damn conspiracy or anything. As soon as I saw the LL, I'm like, oh, that motherfucker's saying Linda Lane. He's saying get the 30 minutes. Get the missing 30 minutes from Linda Lane, right? That's just me, whatever. Brainworms, right? Brainworms. That's all this shit is. It's brainworms. It's the size. I know, Teresa. That's what they say, darling. But if you go back and you look at any other person in Idaho's sentencing hearing where you got to actually like see it, if it was recorded, you can see the video. Even like go back to fucking Bello, right? Go look at Bello. Do you see any writing on her jumpsuit? She doesn't have size smalls written on the collar of her jumpsuit. You know what I mean? Hey, I don't know. Maybe it's each jail. Maybe it's because of the jail he was in. I don't know. Maybe it does just mean large. But, you know, if you want to take the conspiracy angle, I think he's saying, Linda Lane, bitches, get them 30 minutes. Get the 30 minutes. Another interesting thing I thought I saw was that, everybody was losing their shit about the black heart on the piece of paper. And, him and Miss Masseth are kind of like sharing this paper back and forth between each other. And it's got this black heart on it. And really the only thing that I can say about that is when it comes to autism spectrum disorder, there are many autists who, because they can't communicate their feelings verbally, they use pictures to talk about when they're feeling sad, when they're feeling happy, when they're feeling stressed or anxiety or nervous. They will use pictures to communicate their feelings. All right, there you go, Meg. Exactly, a focus point. They'll use it as a focus point, or it can be as a form of communication. Now, I'm not saying that's what it was for. I'm just saying that is something to keep in mind when it comes to autism spectrum disorder. Yeah, exactly. Twist, right. A focus point. Something to concentrate on, something to look at. You can use photos as a means to communicate your feelings. Like, for example, I have a nephew who is completely nonverbal, but he is also incredibly high functioning. So, genius level intelligence, but he doesn't talk. And he uses his little book. He has a book that he carries around with him. It's a binder. That binder is full of vocabulary and photos. And he uses that to communicate what he wants, what he needs, how he's feeling, if he's injured, right? Like, it's wild because he can get hurt and he won't cry. So he will use the book to let his parents know he hurt himself, like stubbed his toe or, fell outside, things like that. So I'm just letting you guys know, as someone with a nephew who is completely nonverbal and he's been this way his whole life, this is how he communicates, through pictures and vocabulary. It is what it is. So either way, I just wanted to throw those two things out there because I thought it was pretty funny. I had no idea this was like a conspiracy thing on the internet until I saw that jumpsuit Pablo guys thingy. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Talking about the black heart on the paper and the L's. Chipmunk feet, too fast for fleas, you're so pretty. Hello, welcome on in. Good to see you. So yeah, I just figured I'd give my commentary on a couple of things that I saw. But I'm not going to lie to you. Between FOIAs and reading all these docs the last couple days, my eyeballs were bleeding out of my face, which is why I didn't go live. I really needed a full day yesterday to literally do nothing but clean my house and let my eyes rest. And that's exactly what I did. So that's what we're doing today. Twiz, hello. Welcome in. Good to see you. Oh, Twiz, you're still not a mod, huh? I thought I fixed that. I know I was fucking with you the other day and I modded you and then unmodded you and then modded you and unmodded you. Just because I love messing with Twiz. Hang on, Twiz, and I'll fix that for you, darling. There you go. All better. All better. So, Twiz, Meg wants to know, right? Meg's trying to get all of these documents from the U.S. Marshals, okay? But according to them, they need Brian's signature. So maybe you can go ahead and work on that. Get in contact with your people, right? And get his signature so we can get those documents. That would be nice. All right. So today we're going to go through documents 81 through 120. That's a bit, if we get a little further, great. But for now, that's kind of what I've got it queued up to be is 81 through 120. Some of these, though, some of these supplemental reports, it's literally like 2 sentences and it tells you to go look at a different report, right? So we should be able to get through it pretty quickly. So let's get some of these things open here. Tarak, hello, welcome on in. Yeah, so like Kane said, you know, if you're here, you can give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down, follow your heart. You know what I say. Let me pop in my little thumb drive here and get all my stuff. Because your girl ain't stupid, and what I do is I save everything, in this case, to an external thumb drive. I have a little external 2 terabit hard drive that I save everything to just in case, because you just never know, right? All right, so let's see, 81 through 120. We want this, and we want this. Da, 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 da. Okay. All right. Hope everybody's ready to go. Thanks for being here. Let me share screen. We'll get into this. Starting off at Moscow Police Department Supplemental Report number 81. And actually, while I do this, before I start moving this, I'm going to do this here. I kept this tab open on purpose so that I could copy the link. This is the link to all the documents for anybody who is not sure where they are, how to find them, blah, blah, blah. There's the link for you. Keep it up there for you. And then we'll get into this. Let's make this bigger. Make sure everybody can see that okay. I'm going to take the comment off the screen. But yes, there's the link to the docs for anybody who wants to follow along. We are at Supplemental Report number 81. My little pen writer here. This is from Lawrence Mowry, December 19th, 2022. And this is the Gonsalves Gmail warrant. On December 5th, 2022, I applied for and was granted a warrant for data related to the email address of, obviously, Kaylee Gonsalves, I would imagine, at gmail.com. On December 5th, sidebar, December 5th is the same day they're doing DoorDash, is it? There's another one they're doing on December 5th as well. I feel like it was DoorDash. I know Reddit they sat on until December 1st, right? Ask somebody in the chat. All right. I'm sure one of you guys will know. On December 5th at approximately 16:46 hours, the warrant was served via Google Law Enforcement Portal. On December 19th, why also is that date sticking out in my brain? There's something else they did on the 19th, too, that was wicked significant. December 19th. I received an email from Google stating the data requested pursuant to the warrant was available. Logged in, blah, blah, blah. Completed the warrant return, blah, blah, blah. Documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. That's it. That's all there is. See what I mean? A lot of these are just, there's nothing, right? Okay, asshole. You completed the return. You got it back. You downloaded it. Did you not think to put anything in here like upon reviewing? Because I notice in a lot of their other supplemental reports, he'll put, upon reviewing the information, I found XYZ ABC. Doesn't put none of that. All right, so that was number 81. Need some Z's. Hello. Just saw you out of the corner of my eye. Welcome on in. Jesse, darling, hello. Good to see you, honey. All right, next one. Number 82. Let's make that bigger. All right. Supplemental report number 82. Again, Lawrence Mowry here. This is for Reddit. Yeah, see? Reddit. He did on December 1st. applied for and was granted the warrant for all information. And this is what got me, okay? On December 1st, 2022, I applied for and was granted a warrant for all information in Reddit's possession, consisting of information related to the crime of homicide on the Reddit account of Kaylee Gonsalves with any of the following identifiers. Kaylee Gonsalves, mobile phone number redacted, email addresses redacted and or redacted between January 1st, 2021 to December 1st, 2022. I'm going to pause here because this is the exact same language that he uses when he goes and amends his T-Mobile warrant for Kaylee and Dylan's phones. It's only Kaylee and Dylan's phones that he goes and amends the warrant for, and he's using the exact same language in their T-Mobile warrant, telling T-Mobile that he believes information related to the crime of homicide is going to be in the fucking phones of Kaylee and Dylan for the time period of June 23rd to August 1st, 2022. And if you don't believe me, you can go back and find the warrant. It's there. Go look in the docs. It's there. And he's using the same language in his warrant for Reddit for Kaylee. So on December 1st, when Lawrence Mowry is putting in this warrant, he can't say that he's saying information related to the crime of homicide is going to be on Kaylee's Reddit account, right? Associated with these two emails, this phone number from this time period. He can't say it's related to Koberger because at that point, they allegedly don't have Koberger's name, right? So you can't claim that, oh, well, we were just looking into it because we thought maybe that's how he's connected, right? Was through Reddit. You didn't even know his name then. So, Detective Mowry, what information did you have on December 1st when you submitted this Reddit warrant that had you under the impression information related to the crimes of homicide was going to be in Kaylee's Reddit for the time period of January 2021 to December 2022? Right? I hope you guys are paying attention here because you'll notice long before Koberger's name is ever mentioned, a lot of their warrants for Kaylee specifically, they are telling these companies they believe information related to the crime of homicide is going to be in her shit. And I am not saying that to knock a victim. It's nothing like that. It's just my observation on what I'm reading in their own documents. Okay? So it's very interesting that on December 1st, Mowry is under the impression that information related to the crimes of homicide is going to be in her Reddit account. Only hers. Notice there's nobody else's name here. Just her. Yvonne, you could be right. They thought she was the target, or they thought she was a prime suspect. Those are the two options if you want to be realistic. You know what I mean? If we're being realistic here in the very beginning of this investigation, it would appear they're focusing mainly on her accounts, and they believe information related to the crimes of homicide are going to be in her accounts. Which to me is just really interesting. I'm not saying that I'm not saying Kaylee was a perpetrator here or anything like that. I'm just saying, this is just my honest observation as someone who doesn't know shit. I don't know shit. There are no facts here. This is just my opinion and observation of what I'm reading. It would appear law enforcement, for whatever reason, believed information related to the crime of homicide was going to be in Kaylee's Reddit account starting from just January 2021 to December 2022. And I don't know why they thought that. I don't know if they thought that because they thought she was the main target, or if they thought that because they were looking at her as a damn perpetrator, as a damn, suspect. I mean, I hope that's not what they were doing, right? I hope not, but it would appear from their documents that's what they thought, and their warrants, which is just awful if that's what they did think. You know what I mean? I hope that's not what was happening. But either way, so he goes on to say December 1st, the warrant was served. December 19th, he received an email from Reddit containing the data requested pursuant to the warrant. The files were downloaded to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at Moscow Police Department. See, like here, in reviewing the data. He didn't do that in the other one. In reviewing the data, I found the account was registered November 18th, 2020. There was one message post located, which was posted January 22nd, 2021, under the subreddit redacted with the following text. Any idea what would cause this type of acne? Never struggled with acne before. I started developing these types of bumps on my jawline, chin, and down my neck. The rest of my face is clear. I am on a non-hormonal birth control, copper IUD. Tried everything to get rid of it, and nothing is helping. The only other message I located appeared to be an automated message from Reddit on December 11th, 2021, with the subject line of, "Your 2021 Reddit recap is here." I completed the warrant return, receipt of the affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. So they obviously found nothing, right? Which is why I'm saying I hope they weren't looking at her as a suspect and trying to tell Reddit, like, yeah, just to get the warrant. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, how, like, that's what they'll do is they'll, like, try and, because, they need the probable cause to get the warrants. And it's like, oh, well, we think information related to the crime of homicide is going to be in her account. Why would you think that? What the fuck would ever make you think information related to the crimes of this homicide is going to be in her Reddit account or in her phone data from June to August? Doesn't make any sense. Just her and Dylan's phones. You believe information related to the crimes of homicide are going to be in her and Dylan's phone and in her Reddit. Why would you think that? Why would you think that? Right? I'm just saying. I'm just asking questions. I'm looking at it from what the law enforcement was doing, what steps they were taking, and why they were making the moves they were making, right? Getting the warrant for Reddit like in November, but sitting on it till December 1st. You know what I mean? Just saying. And then you have to go amend your T-Mobile warrant just for Kaylee and Dylan's phone, and you go back and amend it to fix it so that your dates are now June 23rd to August 1st. And you're telling T-Mobile that you believe information related to the homicides are going to be in those two phones for that time period. It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting, is all I'm saying. And I just have questions about it because brainworms, right? So that's all. Mama 5, hello. Candy Girl, hello. I'm looking at my chat out of the corner of my eye. Christy Nevada, hello. Welcome on in, everybody. It says there's almost 100 people here. Did you smash the thumbs up or what? Did you give it a like? Give it a like. You can either thumbs it up or thumbs it down, but do something. So, her Reddit stuff sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. Great. That was supplemental report number 82. Let's go to number 83. Hope everybody's having a great day. Thanks for being here and hanging out. The Canadian Cat Lady, hello. Swampside Chick, hello. Oh, wait. I gotta do it this way. Here we go. Let's get number 83. Make that bigger. All right, here we go. Forensic extraction, I believe, of Koberger's phone. Oh, no, this is CK. I don't know who CK is. All right. Supplemental report number 83 from Lawrence Mallory on December 20th, 2022. It's a forensic extraction for K's device, whoever that is, CK. Oh, Kara Kernodle. That's what I was thinking too. Kara Kernodle. I could be wrong because I know she spells her name with a C. So yes, P Fox, Meg P. Thank you, darling. That's also, yeah, that's what I was thinking too, but I didn't want to say it. But since everybody else in the chat is saying it, cool. Awesome. December 14th, hey? Day before they swat Brent. Interesting. So on the day before Brent Kopaka is swatted, Mallory is completing, he's requested to complete a forensic extraction on an iPhone provided by CK. K signed a consent to search form for the device, and it was provided to me by FBI Special Agent Travis Shirley. Well, Special Agent Travis Shirley, how did you get her phone? When did Travis Shirley meet with CK to get the phone? And did the FBI also do their own fucking extraction before they gave it to Mallory? Because I'm sure they did. That's spook shit. Spooks doing spook shit. I promise you, if the spooks show up, they're going to do the extraction first before local and state LE get to touch the phone. Okay? So somewhere, FBI Special Agent Travis Shirley, no doubt, has also the forensic extraction of the phone. Just saying. Just saying. Form has been uploaded to the case file. Perfect. The phone was powered on, and I placed it in airplane mode to protect any potential evidence in the phone from being removed or remotely deleted. Well, who would you think is remotely accessing the phone and deleting information? I took photos of the device and attached them to the case file. The phone required a passcode to access the data on the device. Kay provided the passcode. In examining the iPhone, I first looked for identifiers indica of use. I don't know how to say that word, and it's fine. Indicia of use. Why can't he just put something else? Whatever. In examining the iPhone, I first looked for identifiers, indica of use, and ownership. The device was black in color with a black colored case. The device was running on iOS, blah, 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 and showed a model number of blah, blah, blah. The name of the phone was iPhone redacted. The phone had a serial number of redacted, IMEI of redacted. It showed the user as redacted with an email of redacted@cable1.net. The phone number assigned to the phone was redacted. In continuing with my examination of the phone, I made the following changes to the phone's settings. Auto lock was turned off. This change allows the phone and the forensic computer to communicate and share information properly. The phone was then connected to the forensic computers running the following forensic software tools: Magnet, Axiom, and Cellbrite. Cool, so we should have a Cellbrite for this phone. Awesome. We're ever able to get the discovery, there should be a Cellbrite extraction of this device in here. This extraction was saved to a computer located in the secure computer forensics lab at the Moscow Police Department. An examination of the data will be conducted at my earliest convenience. The phone was returned to K. Yeah, it looks like it actually might say Kernodle here, actually, yeah. Because you can kind of see the little top. Even though they tried to block it out, I could see how that would be like a, maybe it's not though. So that's interesting. Special Agent Travis Shirley already had the phone. And then Travis Shirley requested Mallory to complete a forensic extraction. That's interesting. Why would the FBI need Maori to conduct the extraction? The FBI has better extraction software than Maori. That's for fucking sure. Considering Maori was running his little CAS-Viz program on like CAS version 33, even though he was prompted to update to version 38 repeatedly, he didn't bother. Know what I mean? Makes no sense that FBI Special Agent Travis Shirley here is asking Lawrence Maori to do a forensic extraction. Shirley has better tools. That's for sure. So something tells it, this is spooks doing spook shit. This is spooks keeping an eye on something, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff here that these feds are asking Lawrence Maori and Detective Payne and certain people to do. Go get us this. Go do this. Like, you guys already did it. You already have it. So why are you pretending you need them to do it? Unless you think someone somewhere is playing fiddly fuck and you're monitoring it. That's just my opinion. My opinion here is that the feds are literally like, so we're going to get all this stuff first, and let's see who plays fiddly fuck later. Because we have the original. You're not going to need Lawrence Maori to do a secondary extraction for you. Unless you think someone is playing fiddly fuck with the information. That's just my opinion. I don't know shit, no facts here, just my opinion. This is like what feds do, bro. You understand that, right? Even in Karen Reed, even in Richard Allen, what did the feds do? They were there assisting, air quote, assisting. And then what do we find out? Well, few years down the road, the feds pop up with all of their stuff, all of their assessments, everything that they collected. And 9 times out of 10, it's exculpatory to the defendant. You get what I'm saying? Don't forget, the feds are the ones who came up with the whole Odinist cult ritual killing in Richard Allen. That wasn't conspiracy theorists who came up with that shit. That was the goddamn FBI's own analysis and assessment of the case. It wasn't us tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists that came up with that shit. That was the goddamn FBI. Even with Reed, what happened in Reed? Well, they pop up a few years later down the road, and they have all of this exculpatory information, okay? Proctor text messages and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what the feds do. They come in to assist, and if they think law enforcement is playing fiddly fuck with the investigation, they will monitor the whole thing in the background. They'll do extractions first and then tell local LE, yeah, here you go. We need you to do this extraction, even though they already did it. They have the original because they want to see if you're going to play fiddly fuck with what you get. That's just my opinion. If you don't believe me, go talk to JJ over at Operation GCD Podcast. He'll let you know how these spooks operate. It's just spooks doing spook shit. This is normal standard protocol for the feds. They monitor everything in the background and they just gather all the data. It is what it is. You don't need Maori to do the extraction. You just don't. You have better extraction tools. And, that's just my opinion, and I don't know shit. So that was Supplemental Report number 83. Let's get on to number 84. Yeah, maybe, huh? Could be. I don't know, Meg P, yeah. And I know she had to sign a consent form for it. It's interesting that it would be the FBI going to see her to get her phone. And then saying, hey, Maori, we need you to do the extraction. As though the feds didn't already do an extraction. Bullshit. Bullshit. They absolutely did the extraction before anybody else touched that phone. I promise. I promise. All right, let's get into the next one. Supplemental Report number 84. Jesse Schul, good to see you. I just saw you out of the corner of my eye. Welcome on in. Hope everybody's having a great day. Need some Z's. Did I get you? Hello, Wade Bird. Christine, good to see you, darling. Welcome on in. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Happy Tuesday. All right, next one. Number 84. This is Lawrence Mallory again. Also, December 20th, 2022, supplemental report, number 84. Forensic extraction. I think that's a B. Yeah, forensic extraction, LB. On December 15th, interesting, same day they're swatting Brent. So they're going and getting CK's phone, the FBI. And here we go again. Look at this. He's requested to complete a forensic extraction on a Samsung cell phone provided by LB. B signed the consent, and it was provided by ISP Detective Hugh Powell. Interesting. LB. LB. December 15th. Same day that they're swatting Brent. Extraction of the CK phone is being done at the request of FBI Special Agent Shirley. On December 15th, another forensic extraction on a cell phone for LB. And the device was provided by ISP Detective Hugh Powell. LB. The phone is powered on. I placed it into airplane mode to protect any potential evidence in the phone from being removed or remotely deleted. Yet again, another instance where Mallory's worried someone might be remotely accessing the phone and deleting evidence. I took photos of the device, attached them to the case file. In examining the Samsung Z Flip 4, I first looked for identifiers, indigo of use, and ownership. The device was black in color with a black colored case. It's running Android OS and showed a model number of whatever. The name on the phone was redacted. The phone had a serial number of redacted, IMEI of redacted, showed the user redacted, email redacted, phone number assigned to the phone redacted. Continuing the examination, I made the following changes. So here he does a couple of different changes to this phone. Developer mode was turned on. USB debugging was turned on. The stay awake was turned on. Auto update system was turned off. Verify apps was turned off. The changes allow the phone and the forensic computer to communicate and share information properly. Phone is then connected to the forensic computers, blah, blah, blah. They used Magnet Axiom again and Cellbrite again. Perfect. So there should be a Cellbrite for that as well. Also stored at the secure computer forensics lab at the Moscow Police Department. The phone was disconnected from the forensic machine and returned to B. Interesting. Okay, so we definitely should, at the very least, we know we have two phones that did have consensual extractions done. And not only did they use Magnet Axiom, we have Cellbrite. So we want to keep an eye out when documents are finally unsealed and shit. Keep your eyes out for these Cellbrites. He's claiming he attached them where? Is he saying he attached it? Hang on. It's a he, because B provided a passcode, his swipe code of redacted. So it's a he. Yeah, here we go. Photos of the device. I took photos of the device and attached them to the case file. What about the extraction? Where was that? Extraction was saved to a computer. Saved to a computer. Well, fuck, man. saved to the computer. Where's that computer? Let's hope it doesn't end up, smashed by a bunch of hammers and have a bunch of bleach poured on it and shit. Or catch fire. You know. All right, that was number 84. Let's go get into number 85. I'd like to at least get to 120 today and catch up. Share that. I don't know who that is, D Smalls. Welcome on in. I'm not sure who that is. Don't know. It's brainworms. I even said to myself, too, I am not going to try figuring out initials here unless there are ones that I know for sure. If there's other language and context that we can gather that it's probably the right person. Outside of that, I'm not giving myself any more brainworms trying to figure out these initials. All right, so supplemental report number 85, Lawrence Mallory, 1220. This is the Amazon warrant return, November 26th. Applied for and was granted a warrant for any data associated with knife sales of the following items. K-bar, full-size, U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife. K-bar 1217S leather sheath, USMC logo. November 26th, the warrant was served, blah, blah, blah. December 8th, received an email from FA Forensic Accountant Michael Douglas. This one, I believe, is Michael Douglas with the FBI. Received an email from F.A. Douglas. The email was a response from blank at Amazon stating the data was available to download. I received a second email from Douglas with the data returned. So the email itself was, a second email was sent with the data. Completed the warrant return. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. Interesting. Okay. It's 85. Anna D, hello. Good to see you. No worries. I just saw you out of the corner of my eye. Welcome on in. Hope everybody's having a great day. Going on to supplemental report number 86. Here we go. Tyson Barrett. Kernodal property release. Tyson Barrett, 1220. Supplemental report number 86. Kernodal property release, 1213. 12/13/2022, I emailed JK a property release form for Xana's personal property in her car. Kay told me he was going to have redacted, drive down from redacted and retrieve the item since he was in redacted. On 12/17, Kay emailed back the form indicating he was giving permission for RN to take custody of the property in the car. On the morning of 12/20, N called me and said he would be in Moscow later that morning to collect Xana's property and car. I met with N at the Moscow City shop around 11:30. I released 9 boxes containing Xana's personal property from the house and the 2010 blue Honda Civic, Arizona license redacted, and signed for and took custody of the items. Okay, well, that's interesting. So Xana, who actually lived in this house and wasn't moved out for weeks, only had 9 boxes of personal property. Yet Kaylee, who had been moved out for weeks, air quote, moved out for weeks, had over 22 boxes of personal items as well as totes and suitcases that her family had to collect. How is it if you're moved out and you haven't lived there for weeks? You have more personal belongings than the rest of the people who live there in the home. How does Anna only have 9 boxes of stuff? And Kaylee still has 22 in there, even though she had been moved out for weeks. Isn't that wild? Doesn't that just sound wild to anybody? It doesn't sound like somebody moved out, in my opinion. 22 boxes? That's almost 3 times more than Xana's. It was 3 times more than Xana's because Shannon Gray had to make 2 trips to come back to get the rest of the totes and the suitcases. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty wild. If you've been moved out for weeks, you shouldn't still have like 20 plus boxes of stuff and totes and suitcases and whatever. It just seems wild to me, you know. I don't know. Just seems wild. All right. That was number 86. Stop sharing that. Let's go to number 87. Just my opinion. You know what I mean? I don't know shit. I'm nobody. I don't know shit. No facts here. I'm just giving my opinion. To me, that seems strange. She still has that much stuff there, even though she's been moved out for weeks. And she was only going back to show off her car. Remember, she was moved out. Allegedly, she had no reason to be back there other than to go on and show off her car. She wasn't going back to pick up the rest of her belongings. She was only going back to show off her car, and then she was leaving for Texas. So, how do you still have that much shit there? If you're moved out, you only went back to show off your car, and then you're literally moving to Texas. How do you still have that much stuff there then? Doesn't make any sense. Sorry. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. The math isn't mapping. Let's see. Share this. All right, supplemental report number 87. We have from Danny Vargas on December 22nd, 2022. This is Dylan Mortensen property release. On December 21st, 2022 at approximately 11:30, I met with RM, DM's redacted, at the City Moscow shop and released the following to her. M's passport, a Ziploc bag of jewelry, a small black purse, Nike Air Jordan shoes, North Face black puffy coat. M signed for the items. M said she would meet with D and find out when she would be collecting the remainder of her items. The signed release is attached electronically to the case file. Okay. Go to number 88. Yeah, a lot of these are pretty boring, friends, not gonna lie. And there's nothing in them. But at the same time, too, just because I'm completely OCD and anal retentive, I need to have all of it documented just in case there's ever a time in the future we need to go back. Well, we can just go back and fast forward to the spot we need to be and find what we need to find, and, you know, we're good to go. I like to get it all on the record. All right, now let's see. Supplemental report number 88. Lawrence Mowry, also December 22nd. Video capture. On December 22nd, 2022, I was tasked with reinstalling the exterior camera, known as the light bulb camera, at redacted King Road, to capture some comparison video and audio. I contacted one of the tenants, TL, who gave me permission to access her residence and conduct the recording. Upon arrival, I unplugged the power to the current router and removed the camera from the light socket of the exterior of the residence. I then powered on the router I had secured from the residence earlier and installed the camera. I secured as evidence earlier into the light socket. While installing the camera, I hear a crack and felt the light bulb base mount become loose. It should be noted the approximate temperature outside while installing the camera was between 5 and 9 degrees. I previously had installed a new SD card into the camera and powered on the router and the camera at the Moscow Police Department to ensure the camera was functional. I then was able to monitor the camera using the Home Eye Pro app on my phone. Corporal Brett Payne was able to drive a white-colored vehicle into the view of the camera. Sergeant Dustin Blaker parked a vehicle near the residence and closed the doors and trunks on a vehicle for audio comparison. A canine unit from Lewiston County Sheriff's Office was utilized to capture barking audio comparison from the residence. I'll pause here. Sidebar. Corporal Brett Payne was able to drive a white-colored vehicle. Excuse me, Danny Vargas, is that your name? I'm sorry, I thought this was Danny Vargas. We were still on. Lawrence Mowry. Mowry, why are you leaving out the fact that the vehicle that Brett Payne was able to drive into the view of the camera? Oh, well, guess what car it is? Oh, that's right. It's the undercover hybrid. Oh, that's right. He used the undercover hybrid. He used the undercover hybrid for the route. Just let that shit marinate. He's using the undercover hybrid. Just let it marinate. Let it give you a brain worm like it did me. Now you get to have that brain worm too. Okay? Now everyone gets to have that brain worm. Your undercover car is the one making all the fucking loops around Queen Road Apartments. It's this four-door, white-looking, light-colored sedan. And it just so happens to be the same fucking car Brett Payne takes to run his little test runs, to do his test runs. Insane, right? I don't know. For me, I mean, it is what it is. That for me was like, okay, well, try not to be Captain Obvious. You know what I mean? Let's try not to be Captain Obvious here. You're using the hybrid, huh? The same hybrid they were driving around that night. You're driving it around the same route and catching it on cameras. Okay. Oh, you can't see the document. Fuck. Okay, hang on. That's okay. Hang on. I gotta mute for 1 second. And then, yeah. I just gotta put some ice in my coffee because they didn't put enough fucking ice in it for me. So as long as you don't mind me pouring some ice in my cup, hang on, friends. And then I will share the screen with you. Sorry about that. I do that way too often where I'm reading it and forget to share the screen. So just give me a second. I'll share it with you, friends. I promise. My bad. Isn't that wild, though, huh? They're using their own hybrid that was driving around that night in the exact same area at the exact same time to conduct their little drive testing or whatever they're doing. Their comparison testing on the vehicle on the cameras. Your own hybrid, huh? Because Payne's like, well, I mean, you know, our hybrid looks pretty similar, so why not drive it around? Why not use that one? We can just use the hybrid. It looks very similar. You know, like what the fuck? It's wild. Absolutely wild. I remember, God, when Lana first got that body cam from Banfield and everybody was going nuts over it. It was long before Brian's name was ever mentioned or anything. She got that body cam and I was like, yo, I don't care what anybody says. Those cops are running cover for something. I don't care what anybody says. Those Banfield stops, the stops with the kids for the construction sign, in my opinion, it was just those two cops running cover. And I've been saying that shit for fuck almost 3 years. But I also have brain worms and I don't know shit, so don't listen to me. You know what I mean? I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I just got brain worms. That's it. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people that like needs to be, I don't care about that's why I say no facts here. I don't know shit because it's not my job to educate people. Go look at the docs yourself, read it yourself, come to your own conclusions. You know what I mean? All right, let's get into this. Sorry, guys. Now you can see this. So I read the whole thing, and I wasn't showing it to you, and I'm so very sorry. But here you go. Lawrence Mowry, Supplemental Report number 88, video capture, blah, blah, blah. It's just interesting. Corporal Brett Payne is able to drive this white-colored vehicle, and what Mowry leaves out is that it's our own hybrid that was also driving around at the same time that evening. Upon completion of the data collection, I powered off the evidentiary router and removed the camera from the light socket. In doing so, the base detached from the camera and a wire became disconnected. I gathered the router and camera, placed them back into their evidentiary bags, and returned them to the Secure Forensic Computer Lab, or Secure Computer Forensics Lab. I reinstalled the current camera and reconnected the power to the new router. I contacted Elle to ensure she could access her camera, and she responded in the affirmative. Corporal Payne and I then ensured the residence was locked and left the residence without further incident. They were in this Bro, I would never give these two the keys to my fucking house. You gotta be out of your damn mind. LB, who the fuck is this? What's the initials? TL. TL, darling. Her. You're her, it said. Darling, you gave these two the key to your home. You left the door unlocked for them. You let Corporal Payne in your house and said, sure, just lock it up when you're done. Oh my God, that's my worst nightmare. Like, bro is my sleep paralysis demon. You know what I'm saying? Never, ever. Oh, hell no. Are you gonna be hanging around, hanging around in my house while I'm not there? Oh my God. TL, darling, darling. I hope you moved out after this. I hope you left, darling. I hope you're no longer there. I hope you swept the whole place for hidden fucking cameras. I hope you did something, right? And you did not absolutely trust these two, especially him. That's wild. Let's read that again. Corporal Payne and I then ensured the residence was locked and left the residence without further incident. Ensured it was locked. What the fuck were you even doing in it? Why do you need to go inside the resident? Oh, for the router. That's why they had to reconnect the router. Oh, hell no. Bro, they definitely bugged your home, girl. They bugged your home. They definitely put a hidden camera somewhere. 100. I don't care what anybody says. In my opinion, allegedly, they left hidden cameras in your home, TL. Darling, you poor thing. Ugh. Gives me the heebie-jeebies even thinking about it. No fucking way is Brett Payne ever hanging out in my house, bro. Alone. I don't care. Come for me, Payne. I don't give a fuck. It's just my opinion. You're a creep. You're a creepy motherfucker, and there's no way I would ever let you be in my fucking house by yourself and just be like, yeah, lock up when you're done, bro. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't care. Come for me, fucker. It is what it is. We have you on your own body cam standing in the pitch black darkness telling your ride along. You just want to stand there for a minute and listen, you fucking weirdo. I don't care. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care. He's not even a cop anymore. Thank God. He'll never write another probable cause affidavit. We never have to read one of his fucking novellas again. You know? He never gets to type up another bullshit search warrant. You know? Thank God. If that's the only good thing that came out of this fucking case is that he is no longer law enforcement, I'll take it. I will take it. Every day of the week and twice on Sunday, baby. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. I'll say it. You know? You gotta be kidding me. Brett Payne. We're just gonna stand here and listen for a minute. Are you now? Is that what you're gonna do? How often did you do that when you were working graves out at Moscow, Payne? How often were you patrolling on foot in the dark, just watching and listening? How often? Just curious, just questions, homie. You know, just questions. Share screen. We'll go on to the next one. Enough of my bullshit. All right, supplemental report number 89, Dustin Blaker, December 28th. And this is the initial interview with Bethany Funky. Brass monkey, that funky monkey. All right, Miss Funky, what you got for us, darling? Let's see. All video will be burned to one DVD and booked under this case number. Cool, great, awesome. One DVD, huh? Sweet, make it easy. On November 13th, 2022 at around 13:47 hours, so 1:47. I interviewed Bethany Funky. So what's that? 1:47, so less than 2 hours after the 911 call. Right? Less than 2 hours after the 911 call. I interviewed Bethany Funky at the Moscow Police Department in regards to the death of 4 of her roommates. Bethany is a resident at 1122 King. Funky was home sleeping in her room located on the basement floor of the residence. Funky has an iPhone 11 Pro cell phone with the passcode redacted. Bethany went to the redacted party at around 20:30 hours with Ethan Chapin and Xander Kernodle. They hung out in an apartment for a while together, and then Bethany went to the main part of the fraternity to hang out at the party. So Bethany went to the fraternity party at around 8:30 with Ethan and Xana. They hung out in an apartment for a while together, and then Bethany went to the main part of the fraternity to hang out at the party. Maddie and Kaylee went to the corner club together, not sure when they left. Bethany did not see Ethan and Xana at the party and left to go to KF residence at blank Taylor Avenue. KF. Okay. Bethany walked home at around 1-ish, right here. And when she got back to 1122 King Road, Dylan and LM were at the residence, and they all watched a movie together. Maddie and Kaylee got to the house around 1:45 or 2. L left the house, and Dylan went to bed. Bethany hung out with Maddie and Kaylee for a while in Kaylee's room. The room she moved out of that she still had like over 30 fucking boxes of shit to collect from. That room. The room that had the bed sheets turned down. Fucking brainworms. You know, I just wish they would tell the truth. It's not her room. Or she wasn't moved out. If she still has that much shit in it, she's not moved out. And I don't understand why you're just not saying, yeah, she wasn't moved out. Nope, she wasn't moved out. She was technically still living there, but maybe she was having some problems with her roommates. So she came back to our house for a couple of weeks just to get away from all the bullshit that was going on there. Like, just tell the truth. The room is still full of all of her things. She is allegedly supposed to be moving to Texas. Why does she still have so much stuff there? If she was literally planning on bouncing that following Monday or Tuesday, moving to Texas, and she only went back to show off her car. You mean to tell me she was just going to abandon all of her belongings there and move to Texas? And she's abandoning the whole room of her belongings. right? Is that what we're being told? I'm just saying. Enough of my bullshit. I'm sorry. I'll stop. Bethany and Maddie took Murphy, Kaylee's dog, out to go to the bathroom between 2:30 and 3. Well, so you're up after 2 a.m. You, Dylan, right, goes to bed. And Bethany and Maddie are upstairs in Kaylee's room. And between 2:30 and 3, so after you have been up in Kaylee's room, you and Maddie are taking Murphy to the bathroom. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Because Olivia said it's Kaylee and Maddie taking Murphy out. Right? Didn't Olivia say she knows for a fact what time they took the dog out because she has the video or whatever? And she could see them or some shit like that on the video, if I remember correctly. So after you've been up in Kaylee's room, now you and Maddie are taking Murphy out. Why isn't Kaylee taking Murphy out? Where's Kaylee? Bethany did not stay outside for very long as it was cold. Maddie then went to bed and watched a TV show to help her sleep, baby daddy. Well, how would you know that, Bethany? How do you know that Maddie went to bed and what she watched? Right? How does Maddie know? I mean, how does Bethany know that Maddie went to bed also and watched a TV show to help her sleep? I think Blaker fucked up here and maybe he meant to write Bethany went to bed and watched TV. I don't know. That's the problem. That's the problem when you don't know what you're doing when you're writing up these reports and shit. Okay? And you're making all these typos. Now I can see why the defense is confused. Even they're looking at these reports like, what the fuck are you motherfuckers talking about? Right? You're not even getting people correct. You're twisting people's shit here. Like, what do you mean? Do you mean Maddie went to bed? How would Bethany know Maddie went to bed and what she watched if Bethany's on the first floor in her room? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I hate this case too, Meg P, but I absolutely love reading documents and snarking the fuck out of them. It's like my favorite thing to do. Don't ask me why. It's a hobby. So, here we are. Here we are. Welcome in, friends. Welcome to the fucking chaos, baby. At around 4 or 4:20. At around 4 or 4:20. Bethany heard what she thought was a firework and saw a spark on the ground from under her door. Oh, 4 or 4:20, huh? 4 or 4:20. At 4:20, darling, the car's already gone. Car speeding away. The perpetrator's already out of the house, allegedly. At 4 or 4:20. And at 4, perpetrator's not even there yet. Okay? At 4 a.m., the alleged SV1 has not even parked yet. And at 4:20, SV1 is already gone. So, sorry, we got a problem here. Just with this alone. At 4 or 4:20, she heard what she thought was a firework and saw a spark on the ground from under her door. Now we know why Mr. Batanti was saying the information that Bethany Funky has of what she saw and what she heard and is unique to her is exculpatory to the defendant, because the defendant can't be on the second and third floors stabbing everybody, just going absolute Michael Myers up in the fucking place, while he's also lighting off fireworks on the first floor. Right? It can't be Michael Myers is on the second and third floor at the same time he's lighting off a fucking firework on the first. Impossible. Know what I mean? And this is exactly why the defense forensic investigators are saying, no, Bethany's exculpatory. You have multiple perps. You have multiple weapons, because what you're claiming here is absolute fucking bullshit. You're not going to say that Brian is fucking Michael Myers, okay? Literally. Up on the second and third floors, just going absolute Myers on everybody that he can find, except for Dylan, oddly enough. Everybody else he goes straight Michael Myers on, but not Dylan, right? And yet Bethany is saying, yeah, no, I'm hearing fireworks and seeing sparks. Well, how the fuck is Michael Myers lighting off fireworks and making shit spark on the first floor if he's on the second and third fucking killing everybody? It's obvious you have more than one perp here. And even if Brian's one of them, great, but where the fuck are his accomplices? And why didn't you even bother to try to find them? Know what I mean? Great, you think Brian's your fucking main perp, but the forensic evidence and the witnesses are telling you, hey, we have more than one, right? She was on the first floor seeing sparks, hearing fireworks, right? There's shit happening. Dylan is saying she's hearing Kaylee and Xana screaming, crying, and struggling on the second floor at the same time that Bethany's hearing fireworks and shit. So I'm just saying, guys, it is what it is. You have more than one perp. Period. Your forensic evidence would dictate that. The witnesses are fucking telling you. And, you're ignoring it. You're ignoring it. Michael Myers wasn't alone in that house. Michael Myers had his friends, fucking Jason Voorhees and whoever else up in there with him, Freddy fucking Krueger, whoever, okay? They were all in there. There's more than one. Because if it is Koberger cannot be on the second floor stabbing people that are screaming and crying at the same time people are lighting off fireworks and shit on the first. It is what it is. Bethany then heard Murphy barking. Thought she heard a firework and sees sparks. Then she hears Murphy barking. Dylan called Bethany and stated she had seen someone in the house, and Bethany told her she could come down to her room and sleep with her. Let's just pause here. Bethany hears fireworks, sees sparks, hears Murphy barking. Dylan calls her and says, yo, I just saw someone in the house, bro. And Bethany's like, well, yeah, just come down to my room and come sleep with me. Dylan went to Bethany's room and went to bed. Really? And they woke up at around 11 and talked to other friends who came over. And they checked on Xana and Ethan and found them deceased. Really? Now, really? Oh, really? Well, we know that none of that's true. After seeing their text messages and all of that shit, we know none of that is true. Zero of that is true in any way, shape, or fashion. They woke up around 11. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Bethany originally called 911 and stated her friend was passed out and would not wake up. Bethany talked about an incident with Kaylee, who stated about a month ago she saw Unknown male up above their house to the south who was staring at her when she took Murphy out to go potty. Bethany stated Kaylee broke up with her longtime boyfriend about 3 months ago because she was planning on moving to Texas. Bethany could not provide me with anything else at the time. Unknown male up above their house to the south who was staring at her when she took Murphy out to go potty. Well, I mean, maybe you should go ask Brett Payne. Check his patrol shit. Was he on patrol that night? Because he likes to walk around on foot and just fucking stand there in the dark and stare at people. It's his favorite thing to do. Did you ever go ask him, hey, were you on patrol that night? Were you fucking staring at her? I'm just saying. I'm being dead ass too. Like, I'm not even joking. I absolutely would be like, yo, we got you. Hey, homie, listen, we got some questions for you because we have your body cams and you're saying like, we're just going to stand here in the dark and listen for a minute. Well, we got one of these witnesses here saying that there's been multiple instances where someone is standing out back, staring at one of these girls while they're taking their dog out. Is that you out there patrolling? Are you just doing foot patrol and watching the fucking house or whatever? Like, we need to know. We're not accusing you of nothing, but we need to confirm whether or not it's just you out there or is it someone else, right? If it's just you out there doing patrol, no problem, buddy. We just need to confirm. We just need to confirm your whereabouts, bro. Just saying. A male standing up behind the house in the little parking lot there, fucking staring at her while she's taking the dog out. Interesting. Fireworks and sparks. And we just went to bed. Yeah, I mean, we knew that she saw someone in the house, and I did hear the firework, and I thought I saw sparks, but I mean, whatever. Typical shit around here. Just a prank. I thought it was a prank. What do you mean you thought it was a prank? What kind of fucking pranks are you guys pulling on each other that if a firework goes off in your home, you're like, yeah, I'm just going to go to bed? What kind of fucking pranks are you people pulling? Let's not forget, Payne also says that when he arrives to the scene, that first bedroom, the golf club room there, the empty room, he says there was shit strewn all about the place. That room had shit strewn all about, personal effects, miscellaneous items strewn all about. Were any of them golf clubs by chance, Payne? Any of them golf clubs? Just wondering. What was strewn about the room? Because Bethany is hearing fireworks and seeing sparks. And maybe, just maybe, it's coming from that fucking room. No? I mean, I'm just saying. Just saying. I don't know shit, I'm just brainworms over here, but all right. Number 89. Let's get into number 90. We still got a lot to go. I'm already an hour and 20 minutes into this. Enough of my bullshit. Bunny Murphy, hello. How are you? Number 90. Share that. KP, hello. Good to see you. Backwoods. How you doing? Welcome on back. Hope you're back on land, like, stateside. Hopefully you're stateside again. Appreciate you being here. All right, so we have supplemental report number 90, Dustin Blaker, 12/28, second interview with BF. When did he do this? November 16th. So look at this. Fucker does this interview November 16th with her, 3 days after the crime. He doesn't type up this report until December 28th, almost a month later. Let's see, did he record this shit? I just want to look down here real quick to see. We'll go through it, but I want to look and see. Did he better have recorded this, and then it says somewhere this whole thing was recorded on video and placed on file, blah, blah, blah. That's all I'm looking for. Let's get in here. I don't see nothing about, maybe it'll be in here as we read it. All right, this is a longer one, so let's get into this, friends. 6 pages. Second interview with Bethany Funky. On November 16th, 2022, around 11:55, I met with Bethany Funky at her blank office at blank. Present during the interview beside me and Bethany were her redacted, and Matthew with the Nevada State Police Investigations Division. Interesting. And Matthew with the Nevada State Police Investigations Division. We'll have to send out a FOIA there. This is a follow-up interview with Bethany Funk related to the homicide in Moscow. I asked Bethany who had the front door code. Bethany told me the following people had the door code: Bethany, Dylan, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, JM, CC, LM, HJ, EA, JL. JM, CC. Who's CC? LM, HJ, EA, JL. Bethany stated the above-named people were the only ones she knew that had the code. Bethany stated the code for the front door was the same code the year before. I asked Bethany what the code was, and she stated it was redacted. Bethany stated Maddie was the only roommate who lived in the residence the year before. Bethany stated her, Dylan, and Kaylee moved in around August 3rd. So when they tell you that Kaylee moved in June, according to Bethany here, they didn't move in till August. All three, Bethany, Dylan, and Kaylee, all moved in around August 3rd. Bethany stated Ethan had his own apartment, but she was not sure where it was. Interesting. Ethan had his own apartment, huh? Where was that apartment? Did they ever find out where it was located? Did they ever go get anything from it? Where was Ethan's apartment? Was Ethan's apartment ever checked? Was a search warrant ever served on Ethan's apartment? Right? What do you mean Ethan had his own apartment? His parents said he lived at Sigma Chi. Well, why'd they keep saying he lived at the fraternity if he had his own apartment? If he does have his own apartment, great. It's not a problem. I just don't understand why lie about where he was living. Why lie about the whereabouts of certain things? Like I don't understand the purpose of misleading the public is kind of the point that I'm getting at. I don't understand the purpose of misleading people. I just don't. So Kaylee moves in around August 3rd, and Ethan has his own apartment. We were told Kaylee moved in June, and that Ethan lived at the fraternity. Okay. Maddie's room was located on the 3rd floor on the east side of the residence, next to the bathroom. I asked Bethany about Murphy's routine. Murphy was Kaylee's dog she had purchased when she was still dating Jack Decor. Bethany stated Kaylee would primarily take Murphy out, but Maddie would also help. Bethany stated they never just left the door open because he would run away, so they would have to use a leash when they took him out. Bethany stated Murphy would not bark that often and he was very friendly. Bethany stated Murphy would primarily sleep in Kaylee's room, and if Kaylee was not home, he would be left in the room. I asked Bethany about the Uber driver Maddie and Kaylee used on a regular basis. Bethany stated Kaylee knew him from other redacted who used him on a regular basis. Bethany stated they would either contact the Uber driver through the app or contact him directly. Bethany stated the Uber driver was very friendly and always nice to everyone, and everybody trusted him. Bethany was able to tell me the Uber driver was married and his wife had just had a baby. Interesting. Bethany told me he drove a small car, possibly gray or black, but she couldn't tell me more about the car. I asked Bethany who in the house had a boyfriend. Bethany told me Xana was dating Ethan. Dylan was dating a boy named Quinn who lived in Boise and went to BSU. Maddie was dating a Jake who lived in Boise. Kaylee was dating a Jack, but had recently broke up with him. Kaylee was possibly hanging out with MB. Bethany stated M was Xana's big in the Greek system. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, Maddie was Xana's big in the Greek system. Bethany stated the relationship was new and that he had never stayed over at the house, but Kaylee stayed with him possibly more than once. Wait a minute. Kaylee was possibly hanging out with MB. Bethany stated N was Xana's big in the Greek system. Bethany stated the relationship was new and that he had never stayed over at the house, but Kaylee stayed with him possibly more than once. Who the fuck is Xana's big that's a male? How does Xana have a male big? Right. Emily was Xana's big. Bethany is stating this M person, this male M, is Xana's big. Would that be Ethan's big? Is that what he meant to put? Xana's. I mean, it's Blaker. So he probably meant to write Ethan's big, is my guess, because Xana wouldn't have a male big. Bethany stated the relationship was new and that he had never stayed over the house, but Kaylee stayed with him possibly more than once. Bethany stated Kaylee was also talking to an ER, also I'm guessing, fraternity member. Bethany stated she did not have a boyfriend, but did mention she was kind of hanging out with KD, who is a redacted, but they're not serious. What the fuck? We're going to read this again. ER also from a fraternity. Bethany stated she didn't have a boyfriend. So Kaylee was also talking to an ER, also a blank, and Bethany stated she did not have maybe Bethany is talking about herself, that she herself does not have a boyfriend, but mentioned she's kind of hanging out with a KD. But they're not serious. Okay, that makes sense. I had to let that shit die. Brainworms. Kaylee was possibly hanging out with MB. Bethany stated M was Xana's big in the Greek system. Bethany stated the relationship was new and that he had never stayed over at the house, but Kaylee had stayed with him possibly more than once. I asked Bethany if she had ever heard of a CG. Bethany stated she knew of a C, and he was also a redacted. Bethany stated C was a nice guy and knew D. Okay. I asked Bethany if she knew a CB, and she stated she did not. I asked Bethany if she knew the person behind Kaylee and Maddie on the grub truck video. Bethany stated she did not know who the person was. Well, that's bullshit. She knows who the fuck Showalter is. Why lie about that? I asked Bethany if she knew a guy by the name of S. Bethany stated she did not know him, but stated she had heard from a friend of Maddie's that her boyfriend, JF, also a blank, that he would never want to get in a fight with S because he had anger issues. Interesting. I asked Bethany about who paid for the Spectrum Wi-Fi account. Bethany told me it was Kaylee who paid for the account. Bethany told me the login for the password was redacted and the Wi-Fi name was redacted. Bethany stated she did not know what the actual username and login was for the account. I asked Bethany if she knew of anyone who had gotten asked to leave any of the parties thrown at the house. Bethany stated 2 guys from the blank fraternity house, JH and another guy, only that she knew as R, got in a fight and were told to leave. Bethany stated this fight occurred about a month before the incident at the house. I asked Bethany about an AC. Bethany said A used to live at the house but moved out. That's Ashlyn Couch. I asked Bethany who used the bedroom on the west side of the first floor. Listen to this. Bethany said Kaylee and Maddie used the room as an office. Bethany stated Kaylee would use it for her work and had a computer in it. Kaylee wasn't living there. Kaylee's moved out. What do you mean she's using it as an office? She's not even there. She's been moved out for weeks. She's been at her parents' for weeks prior to this. Why is Bethany telling the police that this is Kaylee's office and she uses it for work? When Payne's saying that when he got there, he could see there was a bed in it, the sheets were all disheveled, and there was miscellaneous items strewn about the room. That's the same room that I believe the fucking door is in. That stupid door that is the bane of my existence and my brain worm. The brain parasite that is the door. Right? If for fuck's sake Fitziana's somewhere in here, she'll know what I mean. So this was the room that they used for work, quote, work. Okay. I asked Bethany if any of the other girls who lived in the house had jobs. Bethany told me Maddie and Xana both worked at the Mad Greek. Okay. Bethany told me Kaylee worked for an online company and worked from home. Bethany didn't know who the company was. Bethany told me Maddie also looked for an online company, but it was not the same company. Bethany said the company Maddie worked for was out of Boise. During the summer, she had worked for them in their office in Boise. So if Maddie's working at the Mad Greek and Kaylee's not living there, how are they using it as an office? What do you mean? I asked Bethany about the drug use in the house and who used. So Blaker, who's writing this? Blaker, I think. Yeah, Blaker. So Blaker is aware of the drug use in the home. Every time they do an interview, right? Even with friends of these victims, it's all about the drugs. Who used, who was using drugs, were drugs being stored there? Do you know of anybody who was using the place to store their drugs? So it's all about the drugs. I asked Bethany about the drug use in the house and who used. Bethany told me Ethan and Xana both took Adderall when they drank. Bethany told me she saw Ethan and Xana both use Adderall the night before the murders. Bethany told me she saw Ethan take a pill and she saw Xana crush up a pill and snort it by using a rolled up bill in her room. Bethany also said she thought Kaylee also used Adderall but was not sure. I asked Bethany if she has had any issues from any other people who lived around them. Bethany stated besides the 3 to 4 noise complaints they had, there were no other issues. Bethany told me Kaylee would look up who the registered sex offenders who lived in the area. Bethany stated Kaylee found a registered sex offender who lived close to them in the blue apartments on Queen. Kaylee stated he was older, in his 30s to 40s. Bethany stated Kaylee was looking at the sex offender registry within the week or so before the murders. Bethany stated Kaylee was into crime shows. Bethany stated there was nothing that happened to prompt her to look up the sex offender registry. I asked Bethany about 2 other incidents where Kaylee had mentioned some weird things that happened. Bethany told me about an incident at Winco where a male had followed her around the store, watched her check out, and then followed her to her vehicle. Xana was waiting in the vehicle. Bethany stated Kaylee said the male was African American and in his late 20s. Bethany felt it happened sometime before Halloween, so mid to late October. Bethany stated Kaylee went in to purchase White Claws for Xana. Bethany and her roommates had found the door open on November 4th, around 10:57, and they entered the house and grabbed golf clubs out of the west first floor bedroom. So 9 days before the murders, they came home to the fucking door open at almost 11 o'clock at night, November 4th, 8 days before the fucking murders. They entered the house and grabbed golf clubs out of the first floor bedroom. Bethany and the other roommates walked around the house with the golf clubs to check the house. Kaylee was not home for this incident, as she had gone home for the weekend. Why are her parents saying that she had been home for weeks? November 4th isn't, she's still there on November 4th? That means she hasn't been in Coeur d'Alene for weeks. Okay? Right? She isn't here on this particular incident because she went home for the weekend. Wind was blowing and the screws on the hinges were loose, and Xana's dad fixed it before he left that weekend. What? Oh, wind was blowing and the screws on. Oh, Xana's dad fixed the door too, huh? So he didn't fix the lock, he fixed the hinges because whoever broke in, the door was open. They loosened the hinges. Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. They loosened the hinges instead of having to bust the door open. Tricky Dick, Tricky Dick, Tricky Dick knew what they were doing. We don't have to bust the door. We don't kick in the door. It makes too much noise. Now we can't blast the door open. It's gonna take too much. It's gonna make too much noise. But if you just loosen the hinges and pop the door off, you know what I'm saying? The sparks, maybe. Hear me out. The sparks Bethany thinks she's seeing. Sounds to me like maybe somebody just loosened the hinges on the door. And once the hinges were loose, the firework noise she's hearing is the door being kicked off the hinges. But then how did it get put back on and closed? Because Hunter's claiming when he got there the next morning, he had put in a code to get in. It's so strange. She's hearing a firework and seeing sparks. It is either coming from that front door, first fucking floor front door, or it's that first floor bedroom. Right? I don't know where else she'd be hearing a firework and seeing sparks. It's so weird. Kaylee told everyone about an incident where she saw a male watching her when she had taken Murphy out back to go to the bathroom. Bethany could not remember when this happened, but she could not provide an actual day. Bethany stated she had been at a chapter meeting at the time Kaylee called them asking if they were going to be home soon. The following is a timeline of events from November 12th to November 13th. Bethany stated she was the last one in the house to wake up, and when she got up, Ethan was in the house, in the living room, and Kaylee, Dylan, Maddie, and Xana were all gone. Bethany felt she got up sometime between 10 and 11 in the morning. Bethany stated she checked her Find My Friends app and saw they were at Taco Bell. Once Kaylee, Dylan, Maddie, and Xana got back, they started getting ready for the day. Kaylee, Dylan, Maddie, and Bethany were in Kaylee's room, and they were getting ready for a party at Redacted Taylor Street, the Whites. The house belonged to B, S, and K. The apartment is located on the second floor on the far east side of the apartment building. Bethany stated this was between 11 to 12 in the afternoon. Bethany stated Kaylee left for the Whites before the rest of the group. Bethany stated she left around 2 p.m. with Maddie, Dylan, Xana, Ethan, H, J, Lyndon, K, A, B, and S. Jesus. Bethany stated she started drinking around 11:30 or 12 when still at the 1122 King Road home. Bethany stated she was drinking mimosas and high noons throughout the night. Bethany also stated she also played a drinking game called Rage Cage later that night. Bethany felt she drank a 12-pack of high noons during the night, 2 mimosas, and a standard wine glass. Jesus. Bethany was unsure of what she had been drinking when she played Rage Cage. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Bethany stated she was at the Whites up until around 15:48 when she left with Xana. Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan stayed at the Whites. Ethan had left before her and Xana. Bethany and Xana went to AB's place somewhere on Taylor. Bethany and Xana left there around 16:51, so 4:51, and went back to 1122 King Road. Bethany, Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan were all at the house and made food. Ethan was not at the house during this time. At around 1800 hours, Bethany, Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan all went to take a nap, and they all set alarms for 8 o'clock. Bethany got up at 8 o'clock. Once they all woke up, they all got ready to go to Blank's house for a party. They all got ready to go to the Redacted for a house party. Maddie and Bethany left first to go to P's apartment at Blank at around 2100 hours. Kaylee stayed home and was not going to go to the party at Redacted. Ethan and Xana came over to the party after Bethany and Maddie. Dylan did not come with the rest and walked over at a later time. Maddie was not there for very long, and she went back to the house to go to the club with Kaylee. Bethany felt Maddie left at around 21:09. Well, that's interesting. Okay. One of Bethany's friends, YA, got to the Redacted and hung out with her. Bethany stated Y showed up at around 2200 hours. Okay. One of Bethany's friends, YA, got to there and hung out with her. Bethany stated YA showed up around 2200 hours. They stayed in one of the apartments for a little longer, and she and Y went up to the main house for the Redacted fraternity. Bethany stated this might have been around 22:30, 22:45. Bethany states he hung out in the main part. She, is this supposed to be a he or a she? What the fuck? Bethany states he hung out in the main part of the house for a while, and before she left the Redacted fraternity, she saw Ethan and Xana in P's apartment. Bethany stated this was around midnight 17. Bethany and Y went to A's house again on Taylor. Bethany stated her, J, H, K, and Y were the only one at the house. Bethany stated she walked home around 1, and Dylan and LM were the only ones in the house. Bethany, Dylan, and L were watching Vampire Diaries for a while, and at around 1:22, L left. Dylan went to her room after L left. At around 2 o'clock, Kaylee and Maddie came home. Maddie, Kaylee, Dylan, and Bethany went up to Kaylee's bedroom once they got home. Kaylee was getting ready for bed as they were hanging out in her room. Bethany, Maddie, and Dylan went downstairs, and Maddie and Bethany took Murphy outside. Interesting. Why would they have to take Kaylee's dog out for her if she's there and getting ready for bed? So all 3 of these girls went up into Kaylee's room with her, and then They all come back out and Kaylee stays in her room and they go to take her dog out, not her. Why wouldn't she just take her own dog out if she's there? Bethany only stayed outside for a short time, and she then went back into the house and put something away in her cupboard and grabbed a bag of chips. Bethany went downstairs to go to bed. Bethany stated nothing was unusual about Maddie and Bethany and B's demeanor when they got home. That doesn't make sense. Bethany stated nothing was unusual about Maddie and B's demeanor when they got home. B stated they both appeared to be happy. Bethany said Maddie was highly intoxicated and she had not seen her at that level of intoxication in a very long time. Bethany said when she went to bed, she was using her iPad to watch a TV show off Hulu. Bethany said she was watching Baby Daddy. Okay. So Blaker did fuck up when he typed Maddie. He meant to type Bethany. Bethany watching Baby Daddy. Bethany could not remember what episode she was watching or how long she was watching it for. Well, that's interesting, Bethany. As she was watching the show, when Maddie came downstairs and asked her if she had Murphy with her because she could not find him. What? If you and Maddie just took Murphy out, why is she back in your room looking for Murphy? Right? Thought you guys just took him out and it was chilly out. So you went back inside, right, Bethany? So all of you go upstairs with Kaylee, and then all three of you come back out to go bring the dog. You get yourself some chips. Maddie, you go outside with Maddie first to let the dog out. Then you're cold and you go get chips. And you go to bed, and then Maddie's back in your room looking for Murphy. Where's Dylan? Where'd Dylan go? Like after you grabbed your chips and went to your room? Right? When you came back inside from being with Maddie, where'd Dylan go? If you all came out of Kaylee's room together. Well, three of you came out of Kaylee's room together, and Bethany and Maddie went outside. Where'd Dylan go? You know what I mean? And why is Kaylee upstairs in her room going to bed while these two are taking her dog out? That's weird. Okay. Maddie came downstairs and asked her if she had Murphy with her because she could not find him. Bethany told her no. Bethany said her door was locked and she normally locks her door when she goes to bed. Bethany told me she eventually turned off the show and her iPad and went to sleep. Bethany said she woke up after falling asleep to hearing what she felt was a firecracker go off. And then she thought she saw a sparkler going off through the crack under her door. Sparkler under her door. Bethany stated she did not know what happened. Either Bethany called Dylan or Dylan called Bethany, and Dylan stated she thought she had just seen someone in the house dressed in all black. Bethany said Xana was wearing all black. Dylan responded by saying she thought he had a ski mask on. Bethany said she didn't really know what to say about what Dylan had said. Bethany admitted both her and Dylan get scared easy. Bethany even thought maybe one of Ethan's frat brothers could have been playing a joke. Bethany told Dylan to come down to her room, and Dylan ran down to her room. Bethany tried calling Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan's phones, and nobody answered. Bethany said it was normal for Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan not to answer if they were sleeping, especially if she called late night. Bethany looked at her phone, and it showed Bethany called Dylan at 4:19 and at 4:20. Dylan called Bethany back. During the call, Bethany asked Dylan if she heard a firecracker, and Dylan said she did. Bethany could not recall if it was during this call where Dylan was talking about seeing someone in black walking through the house. Once Bethany and Dylan were in Bethany's room together, they continued to talk about what they heard and saw. Bethany told me, Dylan said, the male. So Bethany told me, Blaker, Dylan said, the male in black was walking out the back door and they had made eye contact with each other. Bethany said, Dylan said, the male was white with a big nose and that he was possibly holding a small vacuum type object. Bethany and Dylan did not call 911 at the time because Bethany thought Dylan was imagining what she was talking about. Bethany stated both her and Dylan were both still drunk and they were very groggy. Bethany told me prior to hearing the firecracker, she thought she heard Murphy bark. She also heard what she thought was the beer pong table moving and cups falling. Yeah, because Dylan's hearing the struggle that's going on with what she believes is Kaylee and Xana. The screaming, the crying, and the struggle that's happening with Kaylee and Xana. Makes sense that your beer pong table's getting banged around and cups are falling. The beer pong table was located in the living room, which is above Bethany's bedroom. Bethany stated she was not sure what the sequence of events were for sure, but she knows she heard Murphy bark, she heard the beer pong table, and then the firecracker first before she called Dylan to see if she had heard the same thing. Bethany told me she tried calling Xana and Maddie at 4:21 and then tried calling Ethan at 4:22. Bethany stated she tried calling Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana several more times once Dylan got into the room. Bethany told me when she went to bed, she remembers most of the lights being left on the inside of the house. Bethany told me after trying to contact the other roommates, she fell back to sleep and then woke up around 7:30 and tried calling her dad about her tooth. Bethany called her dad again at 8, but there was no answer. Her house at 8:01 with no answer, and then called her mom at 8:02. And when he answered and asked to talk, when she answered and asked to talk to her dad called back at 8:09, and Bethany talked to him, and eventually took Advil for her tooth. Bethany then fell back to sleep. Bethany woke up at 11 and noticed no one else in the house was up. Bethany stated she knew this was because Xana's Snapchat location was not on, and it should have been. Who turned it off? Who turned her fucking Snapchat location off? Her Snap location was not on, and it should have been. Who turned it off? Bethany and Dylan got scared because they should have been up. Bethany then called her friend Jay and told her she and Dylan were scared and asked if she would come and get them. So Bethany calls her friend Jenna and wants her friend Jenna to come pick her up and get her and Dylan the fuck out of there. Dylan then called Emily and asked her to come over. Dylan and Bethany knew Emily was with Hunter, so they knew he would come over with her. Interesting. Hunter arrived at the house and came through the front door. Hunter went up the stairs first, and when she and Dylan went up the stairs, Hunter turned around and told Dylan and Bethany to get out of the house and to call for help. Bethany stated she could see Xana on the floor of her bedroom. Bethany said Xana was wearing underwear and a sweatshirt. Bethany stated the door was partially open, but stated the door would be closed. Bethany called 911 and was trying to talk to the dispatcher, but was having a hard time talking. Bethany had to give the phone to her friend Jay so she could talk to the dispatcher. So remember, we all thought it was Emily, right? Talking to the dispatcher. Allegedly, it's Jenna. Bethany says she gave the phone to Jenna. I asked Bethany if she has ever seen Xana on the floor like that. like she did that morning. Bethany told me she has never seen this, but has heard Xana would pass out on the floor in the past when she's highly intoxicated. Bethany told me Hunter went back in the house. Bethany could not remember if Jenna and Emily went back into the house. Bethany told me she believed Hunter grabbed a knife from the kitchen when he went back into the house. Bethany stated the police arrived as she was still on the phone and she disconnected with dispatch. Bethany did not provide any further information related to this incident. Wow. Holy shit. Clearly, you have more than one perp. And I'm never gonna stop saying it. I don't care he took a fucking plea. He took the plea because he's guilty. Great. Who the fuck was he with in this house? There is more than one. Stop sharing that. Number 90. Come over to chat for a minute. Oh my goodness. Hello, friends. It says there's almost 200 people here, like 165 people. Appreciate you guys. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome on in. This is insanity. Let's go get number 91. I wanted to get to 120, and I'm really already at the 2-hour mark. I don't even know if I'm going to get to. We've only gotten through 10 of them, for God's sake. Ay, ay, ay. I wanted to get through way more. I might not be able to, though, because I do gotta leave soon. I got an errand I gotta run soon. Holy crapola, what time is it? It's noon. Oh, God. It's all right. We'll get as far as we can go. It's not a big deal. I have another live scheduled later. It's fine. All right, so here we go. We have supplemental. Oh, wait, let me share it. I mean, I just want to know who else was in the house because it's very obvious there's more than one perpetrator in this house. And why they chose to go with the lone perp theory, I don't know. Only they know that. But it's really interesting. There's clearly more than one perpetrator in this house at the same time. On multiple levels of the floor, you have perpetrators. It sounds like there's perpetrators on at least the first 2 levels. For sure. But what do I know? I don't know shit. You know what I mean? I don't know a damn thing. All right. So we have supplemental report number 91 from Tyson Barrett, January 3rd, 2023. Mogan property release. On the morning of January 2nd, 2023, I received a call from KL, I assume Karen Laramie, that her blank TC was driving to Moscow to retrieve redacted Madison Mogan's car and personal belongings. Why did they have to redact that? To retrieve redacted Madison's Mogan's car and personal belongings. Driving to Moscow to retrieve redacted Madison Mogan's car and personal belongings. What the hell is that that's redacted? To retrieve redacted Maddie's car and her personal belongings. Huh. I emailed Laramie a property release form. She signed it and sent it back. On 1/2 at about 10:44, I received a call from C indicating he was on his way to Moscow. I met C at the Moscow City shop at approximately 1300 hours. C collected Madison Mogan's personal belongings, consisting of 7 boxes, 1 tote, and a suitcase. 2 of the boxes were flat and contained a mirror and other items. So again, I'm going to say it. 7 boxes. Maddie's been living in this place since 2021. She only has 7 boxes of items out of her room. Kaylee had over 22. And she allegedly didn't even live there. So Xana's only got 9 boxes of shit. Maddie's only got 7. And Maddie's the one who's been living there the longest. Since 2021. What the fuck? Are you shitting me? Insane. C and his associate, JM, put Mogan's car on a flatbed trailer to tow it home. C signed for the items, and I took photos of the release along with the driver's license. Okay. Wild. Absolutely wild. 92. Let's get into report number 92. Da, 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 da. Roger Lanier. Supplemental report number 92. Roger Lanier, January 4th, 2023. This is Lanier's Disaster Services response. On December 30th at approximately 8:45, Disaster Services responded to the 1122 King Road to begin cleaning the residence of biohazards and other chemicals used during the crime scene processing. This was a prearranged response. As members of disaster response were setting up their tents and barriers, I received a call from the Latah County Prosecutor, Bill Thompson. Mr. Thompson advised me that a judge's order had just been issued requesting all mitigation and cleanup be halted immediately. Well, sidebar, it doesn't matter because they were in there December 7th, literally packing up all of these fucking people's rooms. So your crime scene is no longer the original crime scene when police have gone in to remove all the items, right? All the furniture. When all the stuff is getting moved out, the beds are being taken, the dresses are being given back to the family, you're packing everything up into boxes and rolling up a U-Haul. Disaster services, they had already emptied the fucking place out and then had disaster services to come and literally wipe it all clean before a defense attorney could get to the place. That's what they were trying to do. In my opinion, allegedly speculation. I don't know shit. It's just brainworms, right? It's just brainworms. But what it looks like is they wanted to get in there, get all the personal belongings out that they could, return it to the family because they needed that crew to come in and clean up all that motherfucking blood. Come in and clean up all the fucking evidence that's going to show you had multiple perpetrators and multiple weapons up in this fucking house. That's what they wanted disaster services for. This whole bullshit about we wanted them to come in to clean the residents of the biohazards and other chemicals that were used during crime scene processing. You lying pieces of shit. What does it matter if the chemicals are still there? What does it matter? Chemicals from the crime scene processing. That's what you needed biohazard to come in for, huh? So they could come clean it up before you bury the house in the earth anyway? Right? Really? You needed a biohazard team to come clean everything up, even though you already knew it's already pre-planned that the university's getting the house and it's going to be destroyed. That's why they weren't sure. This is just my humble opinion. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to get the property. So just in case, make sure you get somebody in there to clean all that shit up. And Ann Taylor, quick as a fucking whip, who lives there, who knows what's going on, who knows how these people operate. You think she wasn't paying attention to this fucking crime when it was all breaking news? You think she wasn't paying attention to what they were all doing down there? Think she doesn't have her own little connections within the police department and the sheriff's office and all of that good stuff? You think she doesn't have her own little FBI connections? Of course she does. They all do. Which is why as soon as she was assigned the defendant, she immediately got a court order to halt all fucking cleaning being done in this house right now. She already knew in advance they were doing it. Get what I'm saying? So Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson had to call Lanier and say, all mitigation and cleanup must be halted immediately per a judge's order. At that point, I instructed the disaster services crew members to stop. I confirmed that the door to the residence had not been opened and no one had entered the house yet. I checked the evidence tape on the door to ensure the seal had not been broken. I stopped by while all of the equipment was loaded back into the response trailer and the entire team left the area. I returned the scene back over to the Northern States security guard and replaced the barricade tape across the parking area entrance. I left the scene at the time. Well, it's Hell's Gate security. So why are you calling in Northern States security, right? Because Lanier even knows off the rip writing Hell's Gate security in here. Lanier already knows, like, fuck, man, I can't write that. Just like Payne knew he couldn't write clad in black twice. He already put it in the PCA, so we can't use it to describe a perp on a video that someone found, you know what I mean? Northern State Security. It's Hell's fucking Canyon. Hell's Canyon, not Hell's Gate, my bad. Hell's Gate, that was the cult. Ay, ay, ay. Either way, Hell's Gate, Hell's Canyon, same difference. Same fucking difference. It's all the same. All right. So that was number 92. Let's close that out. Get into 93. Make sure I share it. Yeah, you know, Lucy, right? Good morning, right brain. Same shit. Hell's Gate, Hell's Canyon, all the same fucking thing, man. Let's see. All right. Supplemental report number 93. Dustin Blaker, January 4th. Transportation of the DNA profile to Othram. On November 21st, 2022, I traveled from Moscow, Idaho to Meridian, Idaho to drop off evidence at the Idaho State Police Forensics Laboratory located at Redacted. After getting evidence checked into the lab, I signed for a DNA profile which had been generated by the ISP Forensics Lab. This DNA profile was collected from a knife sheath which was found by ISP investigators from District 2 during the initial search of 1122 King Road on November 13th. Sidebar. Blaker, it was not investigators from ISP District 2 who found the sheath. It's Corporal Brett Payne. The sheath had been transported to the lab by ISP. The DNA profile was stored in a vial, which was then packaged in an evidence envelope by ISP lab technicians and properly sealed with evidence tape. I signed the package showing I was taking possession of it on 11/21/2022, sometime between 1630 and 1700. So sometime between 4:30 and 5. You don't know the exact time if you sign for it, because when you sign for it, you have to write the date and the time. Once I took possession of the DNA profile, it stayed in the box provided to me by the ISP lab until 11/22/22 at around 3:30 when I removed it from the box and placed it in a small backpack. Why didn't you leave it in the box? The ISP lab gave you the box. There's a reason they gave you the box. Because that's where the vial's supposed to stay. That's why the lab put it in the box for you. It stayed in the box provided to me by ISP until 11:22 at around 3:30 when I removed it from the box and placed it in a small backpack. Just, they love these small black backpacks up around there, don't they? Finding them all over the fucking house, all over the property. Blaker's carrying one. They just love their fucking little black backpacks up around there. The backpack then stayed in my possession. The only time I was not physically holding the backpack was when I went through TSA security at the Boise airport. I was able to see the backpack as it went through the security system and subsequent check of my carry-on by TSA security. The envelope the DNA sample was in never left the backpack at any time during the security check. I arrived in Houston, Texas at around 1400. I traveled to Autism, Inc., which is located at Redacted in the Woodlands of Texas. I arrived at Autism at 1510. I handed the envelope with the DNA profile. Remember, we all wondered, did they ever send the sheath to Autism? No, they didn't, just the profile, to a JF employee for Autism. We completed the chain of evidence paperwork, both on the envelope and also on a form provided to me by Autism. I have burned all of these files onto a DVD, which was booked into evidence. So it's Blaker here who's transporting just the profile from the sheath to Autism that allegedly ISP investigators from District 2 found. And it was ISP who found the profile on the sheet, signed for a DNA profile, which was generated by ISP. Interesting. DNA profile collected from a knife sheath found by ISP investigators from District 2. Well, according to Payne, Payne found it. Payne says he found the sheath. He literally says, I later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed to the right side of Mogan. And they didn't even transfer the actual sheath to Autism. They transferred just this sample. So how did Autism verify that this sample actually came from a sheath? How did Autism Labs verify? Unless they received that piece of evidence, there's no way for them to verify that this sample that ISP is giving them and that Blaker is delivering actually came off the sheath. They have no way to verify that, which is why Autism normally, under normal circumstances, Autism asks you for they ask for a piece of evidence, whether it's clothing, a blanket, something, a piece of evidence that you collected from the crime scene that they themselves can extract a profile from. They normally want a piece of evidence. I'm blown away by the fact that Autism here didn't ask for the sheath, because you have no way to verify that the sample they're giving you was actually taken from that sheath. You have no way to verify it, none, unless they produce the sheath. I mean, it is what it is. How do they verify it? You know, lurkers, anybody listening in the background, if you catch this on the replay crew and maybe you know a little bit more about this than me, how exactly does Autism verify that this sample that was delivered by Blaker actually came from the sheath? How do they verify that? Just want to know. Maybe when Bob Mata interviews Middleman from Autism again, was that guy's name, Middleman? Yeah. Maybe that's a question I'll be able to ask. How did you even verify that that profile actually came from the sheath? How? How did Autism verify that that sample came from that piece of evidence? That's all I want to know. Maybe Bob will ask him that question. Hopefully. Stop sharing that. That was supplemental report number 93 for the transfer of the DNA profile from the sheath. So the sheath was not transferred to Othram, only alleged Brian's DNA profile from the sheath, right? It's interesting. They only sent that one when they knew they had more than one off of it. All right, number 94, Koberger Gmail. Okay. Am I even sharing this with you? Nope, sorry. Let me share that. My bad. Okay. Moscow Police Department Supplemental Report number 94. Lawrence Mowry. Typed it up January 4th, 2023. Let's see. On January 3rd, 2023, I applied for and was granted a warrant for the data related to the email address of blank redacted. Sidebar, you will only see through all of these documents. There is only one warrant for Koberger prior to his arrest. And that is December 23rd, 2022, his AT&T warrant for his phone. Outside of that, everything else, every other warrant applied for Brian Koberger doesn't start until after his arrest in January. So I just want you to let that marinate in your brain. What exactly could they have investigated on Brian Koberger prior to his arrest to give them the probable cause to arrest him if the only thing they had done at that point was one phone warrant? One AT&T phone warrant, right? It's the only thing you have investigated on this person before he's arrested December 30th. So exactly what did you have for probable cause to arrest him? Because you can't say IGG. You can't say that anymore. According to you, IGG was just a tip. So what other investigative leads did you, how come there are no other warrants for any of his shit until after you arrest him? Just saying. On January 3rd at approximately 15:17, the warrant was served via Google Law Enforcement portal, blah, blah, blah. So this is all the same shit. So we know he served it. He applied for it on January 3rd. He served it January 3rd. And on January 4th, he got a email from Google saying the data was available. He downloaded the data, blah, blah, blah. Supplemental report number 94. Go to number 95, share screen. All right, supplemental report number 95, Lawrence Mowry, January 4th, 2023. UPS warrant. On December 2nd, Corporal Brett Payne was granted a warrant for video obtained by UPS via their carrier vehicles. On December 5th at 8:34, the warrant was served. So same day they're serving DoorDash. They got it on the 2nd, right? It was granted to Payne on the 2nd. They didn't issue it and serve it until the 5th. And then on the 5th, they got an email from UPS stating the data requested pursuant to the warrant was available. I provided a download link, and the files were downloaded to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at the Moscow Police Department. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. I also emailed a copy of the receipt to Google, as this was the originating email address associated with the documents. December 5th. So same day they're putting in their little DoorDash warrant there. They're also serving the warrant for the UPS cameras. Interesting. Molly, you in danger, girl. Molly, Good golly, Miss Molly. These cops are watching you like a fucking hawk, girl. Wonder why. This is, mind you, their DoorDash warrant on December 5th. At that point, they had already done a trap and trace on the DoorDash driver from November 22nd to November 30th. Prior to ever getting a warrant, they were already trapping and tracing her for over a week. Momos, what up? Yeah, Row, UPS, yep. All right. Let's see, supplemental report number 96 from Dustin Blaker, January 4th, 2023. The towing of vehicles and the removal of ECUs. This one was interesting. Case number added to WG. Watch guard. Okay. So let's see. We have item 272, the ECM for the Jeep Wrangler. Item 273, the ECM for the Ford Explorer. Item 274, ECM for the Chevy Cruze. Interestingly enough, they are only getting these ECUs from the Chapin vehicles and Maddie's car. Isn't that interesting? Just the Chapin vehicles and Miss Mogan's car are the only ones having the ECUs taken out. And it was an FBI DFE agent out of Salt Lake City, Utah, who assisted with removing the ECU from the Jeep Wrangler belonging to Ethan Chapin. So let's go through this. This is Dustin Blaker saying that on November 29th, this is the same day, they expand their search to include up to 2016 Hyundai Elantras. This is literally the same day they're expanding the Elantras. Blaker was tasked with having 5 vehicles from 1122 King Road moved to the city shop located on North Van Buren. Redacted towing was the only vehicle able to accommodate the towing of the vehicles. I watched Redacted hook up to each vehicle, and I then followed each vehicle from 1122 King Road to the city shop. On 11/29/2022, Willie, what up, homie? Just saw you out of the corner of my eye. What up, homie? So, on 11/29/2022, the same day they're expanding the models of the Elantra, Blaker is meeting up with DA, who is an FBI DFE. What's a DFE agent, friends? I'm not going to tell you. Let's see who in the chat gets it first. What's a DFE agent, friends? FBI DFE agent out of Salt Lake City. I'll let someone Google it. If you don't know, go Google. What's an FBI DFE agent? Forensic examination, correct? So you have FBI forensics examination agent out of Salt Lake City, Utah, meeting up with Blaker. This agent is removing the ECUs from the Jeep Wrangler belonging to Ethan Chapin. After the ECU was removed, I took possession of it and booked it into property. On 11/30, same day that they're locating Brian's car on WSU's property, Officer Aaron Morris was with Agent A when he removed the ECUs from a Ford Explorer belonging to Ethan Chapin and a Chevy Cruze belonging to Maddie Mogan. Officer Morris took possession of the ECUs, and I assisted him with booking them into the property. The ECUs were then shipped to Salt Lake City so the FBI could retrieve data from them. Once they were done, they shipped the ECUs back to the PD. I received a very large package around December 22nd, 2022. I opened the package on 12/27/2022 and found the 3 ECUs in the box. We were told Agent A would not be able to come back to Moscow for several weeks to reinstall the ECUs. I contacted KR, fleet supervisor, and asked R if he and his mechanics could reinstall the ECUs, and he told me they could. I provided him with the ECUs, and they have them installed the same day. So you have digital forensics experts from the FBI out of Salt Lake City, Utah field office showing up to come and collect the ECUs, not from all the victims' cars, only from the 2 Chapin vehicles and Maddie's car. Isn't that interesting? Only the 2 Chapin vehicles and Maddie's car. And all 3 were shipped to the FBI's field office in Salt Lake City, Utah for them to do their forensic extraction and or analysis. Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, let's go on to the next. Share screen. Mittens for kittens, hello. Just saw you out of the corner of my eye. Sally, hello. How are you? Trying to keep an eye on chat, like through my phone. All right, supplemental report. We got here. Number 97, Dustin Blaker, January 4th, 2023. Transport of the deceased to redacted. On November 13th, 2022, I was at 1122 King Road assisting with a homicide investigation and search warrant at the address. Redacted was called to remove the 4 deceased and then transport them to Spokane for autopsies to be performed. At around 21:28, I had Officer J. Waters follow redacted when they transported Xana and Ethan. Okay, so 21:28, huh? So they didn't transport the bodies until 9:28? 12 and 9:21, yeah. So about 9:30 at night. So at around 9:30, Officer J. Waters followed redacted when they transported Xana and Ethan. I had Officer Waters stay at redacted with Xana and Ethan so they could return and transport Kaylee and Maddie. I followed redacted from 1122 King back to the facility after they collected Kaylee and Maddie. Well, what time did they transport Kaylee and Maddie? Once at redacted, I watched PH redacted place name tags on the 4 deceased along with corresponding numbers to help identify them. I then placed evidence tape on the body bags, sealing the bags up until they arrived in Spokane and the autopsies can be completed. I photographed the evidence tape and I have burned these photos onto a DVD, which was booked into evidence. I then saw H place the 4 deceased into a cooler located at his facility. Okay. Number 98. This is wild. I'm guessing it's the medical examiner, coroner, whoever they have there. I don't think it's anyone like actually involved in the case or anything, just saying. This one was really interesting too, Elon warrant. I don't know if it was this one or if it's in a different document, I forget. Nothing but brain worms. Here we go. So we have supplemental report number 98 from Lawrence Mowry on January 5th, 2023. This is the Elon warrant Hello? Is it working now? Mother F. How long could you guys not hear me for? I don't even know where I left off. Sorry, honey. Lose sound. Yeah, you probably did lose sound. What was the last part you heard? So I don't have to. Elon warrant. Yeah. Elon Financial, darling, is what that's for, Meanie. Elon Financial. A P1 FCU account. So Federal Credit Union account. Kaylee had. Oh, you didn't hear the whole thing? Oh, well, fuck. Oops. Sorry, honey. Let's start again then. That's okay. So this is supplemental report number 98 from Lawrence Mowry, January 5th for Elon Financial. December 22nd, he applied for and was granted a warrant for financial records for Elon Financial Services for Kaylee. A P1 FCU credit, a debit card was found with her name on it in the residence. The warrant was requested to see if any financial transactions could be located showing evidence in her murder. FBI Special Agent Douglas assisted in the service of the warrant to Elon Financial. On December 22nd, the warrant was served. On January 5th, Mowry received an email from Special Agent Douglas providing the data requested pursuant to the warrant. He completed the warrant, submitted it, blah, blah, blah. It says in examining the data, it appeared the account was registered to an LL. Kaylee Gonsalves's, I assume it says grandmother, and I think this is Linda Lukens. So it looks like her grandmother had she had an account in her grandmother's name, a Federal Credit Union debit card account with under her grandmother's name. So that's interesting. Okay, that was number 98. Let's go to number 99. Have I already done these? Why do I feel like the other night? Oh, no, that's right, because I did schedule it and then I ended up not doing it. Did we already get up to 100 in another live? I hope I'm not reading the same fucking thing all over again, man. I'm going to be so mad at myself. And I don't remember because I've already read through all of them on my own privately. And now I'm not sure what have I already? AR Hayes, holy shit, good to see you, sir. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling okay and taking care of yourself. No, I don't think so. I think I left off at 80 on the channel. Yeah, meanie. I think my last live I did, I only got up to 80, right? And then I think I had one scheduled. I said, we'll come back later and try to get up to 100. And then I didn't. Oh, man, I hope I'm not doing this all over again. I mean, if it is, it is what it is, for fuck's sake. Fucking brain worms. All right, so supplemental report number 99, Lawrence Mowry, January 5th, 2023. This is for Blue Ridge. S.A. Douglas, huh? What was the date of that other one? Hang on one second. I just want to go look at something real quick. What date did they do for financial? December 22nd. Interesting. Okay. Let me share this. We're on 99. All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you see this? How's my audio? Everything good? Are we back? Are we working? Is this real life? All right. Hopefully my audio is good. Hopefully we're holding up okay. Let's see. Sound is good? Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Just want to make sure. All right, so we have supplemental report number 99, Blue Ridge warrants. December 12th, 2022, I applied for and was granted a warrant for sales records from Blue Ridge Knives for K-Bar KA1217S, USMC fighting knife sheath, and known purchases and quantities of Blue Ridge Knives from K-Bar, including on or about 3/8/2022, the purchase of 360 units, and on or about 6/24/2022, the purchase of 480 units. Interesting. Blue Ridge Knives are a wholesaler for K-Bar knives and sheaths. FBI Special Agent Douglas assisted in the service of the warrant to Elon Financial. Oh boy. Oh boy. FBI Special Agent Douglas assisted in the service of the warrant to Elon Financial. Elon Financial is Kaylee's bank account that is in her grandmother's name, and it would appear, for whatever reason, they are looking for sales records from Blue Ridge Knives for this specific K-Bar around either this time it was purchased, March 8th, 2022, or June 24th, 2022. Blue Ridge Knives are a wholesaler for K-Bar knives and sheaths. FBI Special Agent Douglas assisted in the service of the warrant to Elon Financial. So why is Elon Financial, what does Elon Financial have anything to do with the purchases of K-Bars in March and June of 2022? I'm just asking. I'm not insinuating anything. I'm asking based on their documents here. Why FBI Special Agent Douglas, who's assisting in the service of the warrant for Elon Financial, what does that have to do with these K-Bar purchases that you're looking for either March 8th, 2022 or June 24th, 2022? Whose birthdays are around this time? March 8th and June 24th. It's just really interesting to me that Special Agent Douglas, who is handling the Elon Financial stuff and assisting with that, for whatever reason, that is tied to the Blue Ridge knife warrant, the Blue Ridge warrant for K-Bar knives. So, I mean, I don't know. Go look at it yourself, whatever. It is supplemental report number 99. Right? So December 12th, applied for, granted a warrant for sales records for Blue Ridge Knives, looking for this particular knife and sheath, and these known purchases around March 8th, 2022 or June 24th, 2022. Blue Ridge Knives are a wholesaler for K-Bar. FBI Special Agent Douglas assisted in the service of the warrant to Elon Financial. On December 13th, 2022, the warrant was served. On December 16th, I received an email from Special Agent Douglas providing the data requested pursuant to the warrant. I downloaded the files to the forensic computers located at the Secure Forensic Computer Lab at the Moscow Police Department. I completed the warrant return, receipt, and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned. Also emailed a copy of the receipt to Blue Ridge, right, as this is the originating email. Elon Financial. So it would appear here that they were digging in Elon Financial bank records looking for K-bar knife purchases. Otherwise, why is Elon Financial even being referenced in this warrant for Blue Ridge? Why would Elon Financial and Special Agent Douglas even be referenced in this? Right? Just saying. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. Stop sharing that one. Let's get to 100 at least. Probably not going to make it to 120 on this one. I'm going to have to go fix the title of the live. We're going to get to 100, and then I literally got to go. It's almost 1 o'clock. Yeah, we'll have to finish it up later. I do have another live scheduled for later, so we'll just catch up then. No biggie. I'd rather do it later when I have more time anyway. All right, so this is Supplemental Report 100. Lawrence Mowry, January 5th, 2023, Extreme Network warrant. On December 12th, 2022, I applied for and was granted a warrant for Extreme Networks to assist in unlocking a laptop located in the residence located at 1122 King Road. The laptop was being used by Kaylee Gonzalez as a paid employee of Extreme Networks. Paid, huh? Good for her. She was getting a paid internship. We were told it was an internship, right? I warrant to Sergeant Uhrig, who then served the warrant December 12th at approximately 3:19 via email at harvard.edu. Extreme Networks, hupd.harvard.edu. Hang on. Hang on, friends. I'm looking at something. Huh. Interesting. Harvard Secure Wireless Network and Ethernet. Shut the fuck up. I'm going to share this with you guys. Hang on 1 second. Let's close this. Hang on. So that thing, right? That document we were just reading where it says like harvard.edu. Like, why the fuck would anything be harvard.edu that has to do with Extreme Networks, right? Well, look at this. Extreme Networks is a company specializing in network solutions, including Wi-Fi, network security, and cloud-based networking. They offer services to various sectors, including higher education, aiming to provide secure and scalable networks for universities and colleges. While Harvard University uses a variety of networking solutions for its campus, it is unclear if Extreme Networks specifically provides these solutions. Harvard offers several wireless and wired network options for students, faculty, and staff, including the Harvard Secure Wireless Network and Ethernet connections. It's worth noting that Extreme Collegiate Incubator Experience, Extreme Networks, sponsors this program to provide a higher education institutions with access to network infrastructure and equipment for research, innovation, staff training, and separate their main operational network. Extreme Network showcases testimonials and case studies highlighting their work with other higher education institutions, focusing on improving campus connectivity, student experience, and operational efficiency. Women in Extreme Networks involved a co-author from Harvard University, suggesting a potential indirect connection through research collaborations or academic activities. Higher Education Network Solutions, Extreme Networks. The Extreme Collegiate Incubator Experience is a program sponsored by Extreme Networks to support higher education institutions. Hang on. There we go. Extreme Networks. Simplify and secure IT operations with AI-powered cloud networking. Wireless access, wired access, connecting the future of higher education. The power of connected campus. There it is. The Extreme Collegiate Incubator Experience Program is a program sponsored by Extreme Networks to support higher education institutions. The program provides these institutions with access to network infrastructure and equipment that is separate from their main operational network, meaning laptop, router, the equipment you're going to need. This allows colleges and universities to conduct research, innovate, and train their staff without affecting their primary network. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so I know a lot of people were, the Extreme Networks thing, everybody was trying to, but if you look at the supplemental reports and everything, so let me close that out real quick and we'll reopen this supplemental report here so that you can see what I'm talking about, right? So when they submitted these warrants in, right? So Sergeant Neil Uhrig assisted in the forensic examination of the laptop. That's what it says right here. I forwarded the warrant to Sergeant Uhrig, who then served the warrant on December 12th at approximately 3:19 via email to redacted@hupd.harvard.edu. So that's what I looked up real quick just to see what this like HUPD harvard.edu and like anything to do with Extreme Networks, and that's kind of what it brought up for me. This Extreme Networks thing, like campus connectivity, and they provide you the hardware you're going to need for it. On December 14th, Uhrig received an email providing the encryption key for the laptop. This allowed the data from the laptop to be forensically acquired and examined by Uhrig. I completed the warrant return, receipt and affidavit. Documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. So December 12th, applied for, granted a warrant for Extreme Networks to assist in unlocking a laptop located at the residence. So notice it doesn't say located in Kaylee's room, located in the residence, located at King Road. The laptop was being used by Kaylee Gonzalez as a paid employee of Extreme Networks. Warrant requested permission for Extreme Networks to unlock or provide a password for the laptop. Uhrig from Post Falls assisted in the forensic examination. He forwarded the warrant to Uhrig, who then served it on December 12th. And it was served to this harvard.edu address right here. Same here, right? The receipt was emailed to Extreme Networks at this same harvard.edu because it was the originating email address associated with the warrant. So isn't that interesting? Let me stop sharing that. Well, we made it to 100, friends. I was hoping to get to at least 120, but, you know, me and my bullshit, I go off on my little tangents, so we didn't get there. But I do have another live scheduled for later, and we'll just catch up there, and it's not that big a deal. Hopefully, you guys go enjoy the rest of your day. I have some errands to run. I have some things to do, and then I will be live later, and we're going to cover the rest of it, so hopefully that's okay with you. I wanted to get to 120, but I couldn't. But I appreciate every single one of you for being here and hanging out today. And yeah, we'll get back into it later. No big deal. No worries. Mods, thank you for hanging out here. Thank you for keeping an eye on chat. Appreciate every single one of you. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down on your way out. You know what to do. Follow your heart. And I'll see you guys later. I think I have the next one set for like 7. It's either 6 or 7. I forget which, but either way, I'll see you guys then. Go enjoy the rest of your day. I got shit to do. Bye.